So I guess we gotta have this conversation because I was over on YouTube, came across this black content creator, female, conservative. And of course, it seems to me that every time I hear somebody who's from the black community who voted for Trump, they always reference all of these stereotypical negative excuses to try to justify why they voted for who they voted for. I don't give a fuck primarily why you voted left, right, or whatever the case may be, because we're all going to have our reasons as to why we voted for who the fuck we voted for. As I said, I'm not a party affiliate. I gave my reasons why. I don't care for any overseers or people put in positions of power to try to tell the people what's in their best interest, and then they turn around and fuck us no matter which way you turn, whether it's left or right. Okay? But she brought up accountability, that there's no accountability within the black community, right? And once again, here we go with yet another person who was black to give a generalized perception on the whole community from which she comes from. And what I gotta question is there's this sort of detachment disorder that comes from certain black people that I've come to notice and recognize that you discount yourself as being the positive reference or example because we're so conditioned to only look and focus primarily on the negative that we don't give ourselves enough credit as not being the stereotype. But I get it. The conditioning, the indoctrination, the blanket perception, and all this and that. What I have a problem with is when it comes to a person trying to tell other people or appease to a particular community to kind of reassure their bias, their prejudices, their racism, their stereotypical mindset. And it's like, we're not the only community that has faults that are recognizable, that we know exist, that we know we need to address. And I don't tiptoe around, you know, acknowledging that there are things within the black community that needs to be worked on. We, by God, have those from the white community and other communities that throw it up in our face constantly. So how the fuck can we not know about the issues and the problems that we have? But like many of us have also stated, while being criticized, not with constructive criticism, but just flat out criticism to ridicule, to scapegoat, to entertain certain biases, to justify certain prejudices and, certain disturbing behaviors from others towards those in the black community, right? And that alone is a problem within itself, okay? Because just as much as you hear white people talking about how they don't like to be generalized or be called racist while presenting racist behaviors, a racist mindset, the verbal usage with racial slurs, and certain things that I don't get when it comes to a lot of this condescending, how should I say, talking points. Like, I brought this up before. You say that black people are lazy. You say that we're on government assistance. And then you say that we're ghetto, we're ratchet, and we don't know how to conduct ourselves without acting all thuggish, this, that, and everything else. But meanwhile, while you guys within the white community have this issue with pedophiles, have this issue with being racist, being discriminating, being exclusive, not inclusive. You always gotta find some way to point the finger at other people. You say that black people blame white people for everything, but you love to scapegoat other communities for your fucking problems. Oh, it's the reason why black man, DEI, affirmative action, the reason why a white man can't get a job. Oh, it's but yet, you hold the power to fire black people, to prevent black people from getting promotions, to take them out of key positions, either in politics, in the military, in schools. So on one hand, you say that we're lazy, we don't want to work, but then when we have a job, when we are in key positions, you have the power to terminate us. So now we're in a position that you put us in to be on government assistance. But once again, since we're talking about accountability, because they say there's no accountability in the black community, we fight amongst ourselves more than we do fighting the opposition, right? Now, I've addressed this along with many other people in the black community. When we look at gangs, for example, we got all this smoke for each other when it comes to the disrespect or somebody taking our family members or people within our own, clique. But yet, when it comes to a person disrespecting us from the white community who's racist, we don't do nothing. Like you see this motherfucker Chud or whatever, he's going around calling people monkeys and the N words and stuff, and black people just looking at him like, But in fairness, I have seen videos where, there are black people that, check those that get out of pocket. But when it comes to the Klan or white supremacists or neo-Nazis or people of that sort, and we see it currently in modern day where we have black people being found hung, lynched, whatever the case may be, and there's no justice. People still being targeted by the police, still there's no justice. We don't have smoke for those people or people making decisions that affect their lives. We don't have smoke for those people, but we have smoke for each other. And that alone is problematic. We get on here on social media and it's either black women bashing black men or black men bashing black women. And those in the white community, they just sitting back with a fucking bucket of popcorn just enjoying this shit. Because they're looking at the division. When it comes to our children, there are certain areas where, yes, we do need to improve on. But overall, it's not every black person or every black family or every black household that got issues. Like I said, primarily when you look at certain demographics and you see where the problem lies, where crime may be, this and that and everything else, that doesn't go across the whole fucking board. But it seems like it's acceptable to generalize everything negative or stereotypical when it comes to the black community, but for everybody else, it's like disregard that shit. Don't look over here. Don't mind us. Even though there's some fucked up shit, especially coming from a community that love to always point the finger at us. To the point where we got us looking at us, pointing the fingers at us. While they continue to do the fucked up shit that they do. But nobody's focused on them. Not really. I mean, we are taking notice and we are calling them out for their bullshit. That's why that black on black, narrative talking point, has kind of died down when we point out the mass school shootings, the pedophilia, people getting caught with, child, whatever. Them doing fucked up shit within their families to their own kids, this, that, and everything else. So when it comes to accountability,